I'll be real with you. Being a Halo fan, it's pretty much suffering every single day. I've been watching this franchise die a slow death for about 15 years, and they've just keep making mistakes after mistake after mistake, and today I get the pleasure of talking about new skins for the Halo CE Remake. Now, I do have to clarify, these are leaks, so they may not be legitimate, but Microsoft is also out on Twitter executing leakers, so that also means two things. One, I can't show you these skins, and two, despite it being a leak, it's probably legit if they're taking them down, and they're either going to be a pre-order bonus, or you can buy them for $10 to $15 on top of the original price of Halo CE Remake. There are 5 Master Chief skins and 6 weapon skins with the premium edition of Halo Campaign Evolved. That's what the leak says. And they look absolutely terrible. 343 has demonstrated time and time again that they're really bad at making art for Halo, and honestly, if you took a look at these skins, yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you thought that same opinion too. Now, the first skin is Master Chief, but as a stereotypical Roman Centurion. 343 has a really weird obsession with making Spartans wear gear inspired by the Romans. This one looks worse than Achilles or Legionnaire from Halo 5. And I gotta tell you, the world has to be ending because 343 has become so terrible at making Halo games that they have made me go back and praise Halo 5. Maybe the Halo cycle is actually real. Who knows? At this stage, I wouldn't be surprised. This franchise is basically dead anyway. But anyway, this skin kind of looks like it's wearing literal Roman armor, or at least what someone thinks a Roman soldier would look like. For example, the plume on the head is a literal plume rather than a fake one, and the armor kind of looks like what you would see in a movie if it was going to be like sci-fi Romans. I don't know, I don't think it looks very good, and it's going to be visually clashing with the rest of the game. The second skin is Master Chief, but as a hunter. Honestly, there's nothing else I can say about it, it's just lame and generic. The only unique thing is that it appears to have spikes on its back, but it's otherwise hyper generic and I would say expected. I can imagine Microsoft Copilot whipped this one up really, really quick. There's nothing else to be said beyond what I've already said. The next skin is what I like to call the Pink Sauce Lady sauce, if it was crystallized. To clarify, it's supposed to be a Needler skin, his underlying armor is blue, and it's got pink needles all over it. It's just kinda lame, in all honesty. It's the coolest one of the bunch, but you have to remember that you're going to be wearing it alongside everybody else who is not wearing this armor. The more I look at it, the uglier it is. The fourth skin is Master Chief LARPing as a sniper. It kind of looks like someone was told, hey, make it look like Halo Reach, but they were given no creative oversight. And it just looks overly done, kind of busy, kind of lame. It's trying really hard to be visually distinct, but I think the problem with it is that it doesn't really look like Master Chief. It doesn't look like an armor set that I would immediately recognize as Master Chief. And I think if they had designed it as Master Chief's Mark V armor, but with sniper attachments, that would be kind of cool, but they didn't do that. And the final skin is Master Chief as a mech. Daring today, aren't we? Okay, so Master Chief's original design was inspired by mechs from anime, but he is not a literal mech. Making a literal mech skin for Chief is just the lowest hanging fruit. Again, much like the Hunter skin, I can imagine Copilot whipped this one up very fast. But it's also one of those things where I'm kind of thinking to myself, I could see the community designing this because they're mostly creatively bankrupt, especially 343's community. But to see it from 343 themselves, I kind of think to myself, man, it's just lame. I like mechs. I think mechs are really cool. But this one is just not it. If this was instead the Macworld demo skin instead of a mech, I think this would be a lot cooler. It is the only one that I look at and think to myself, that's Master Chief. But it's also just generic, expected, safe, boring. Copilot. And in terms of weapon skins, you have a fuel rod, but with Hunter gooey parts on it, and it's blue instead of yellow. Boring. You have a sniper rifle that is having a troubled time in high school with a suppressor that clearly will not do anything. A cut down stock and what appears to be a bone bipod. You have a Needler energy sword where someone took 2 Needlers, made crystals come out of those 2 Needlers, and then stuck them together with an energy sword hilt. It's not offensively bad, I just think it's kind of ugly, and it's one of those things where, yeah, someone probably thought this was cool, and then it's actually real and it's lame. You then have a Magnum with a wooden grip and some yellow text on it. That's it, there's nothing else to it. The Halo 5 rocket launcher has made a comeback as a skin. 90% of the fan base hated this, even Halo 5 fans hated this one, so I don't know why you'd bring it back, but good job, I guess. And then you have the Ultra Tryhard battle rifle that is probably a last unlock in a Call of Duty game, where instead of a compensator, it has a little spear tip compensator. It's mostly gold with a bit of red on it. If you told me it was a Call of Duty skin, I would honestly believe you. Look, I'm not going to pretend that these skins, or the ones that I haven't talked about because I just saw them online, are breaking the game or some massive issue. They're just tiring. It's weird to have skins for a game that only has co-op as the sole multiplayer mode. First off, if you pull your friends in and they see you wearing these skins, they're probably just going to call you cringe. They're not that impressive to look at. Second, it's primarily played in first person, so you're not going to see them yourself that often except in cutscenes where they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You can't show them off online because everyone's just going to call you cringe, except for the Halo fans, and most of them are too busy huffing their own farts anyway. If they're 343 fans, which are pretty much the only ones who even care about Halo at this point anyway. And the other one is you can't really show them off on Twitch because who's going to watch Halo CE Remake on Twitch? Nobody should be engaging with this beyond making fun of it like I am. The appeal of these skins is commensurately really low because of that. I really don't know why you would buy them or pre-order the game for them except to support 343, and it should be abundantly clear to everyone by now that 343 is far from deserving of your support. They are a terrible developer. I would not buy these skins. Also, if anyone is curious as to the quality of these skins, I can show you the Fanta Soda skin because they showed this off already. It is absurdly ugly. It is one of the ugliest video game skins I have ever seen. I can't imagine anyone wear this thing except as a joke. It's also funny because the history of Fanta is a little controversial, and I think at this stage Microsoft would be better off avoiding anything with any degree of controversy, and here they are putting in the Fanta Soda skin. If you don't know, look it up. The real problem I have with this stuff is that it was reported and shown previously that the Halo CE Remake is reusing most of its assets from Halo Infinite, and then you see the skins and you think to yourself, man, why wouldn't you just devote the time that you took in making those skins and have that artist work on unique art design for Halo CE Remake? Why would you make a skin when you could make things that match the visual style of the original Halo CE game? That game is very visually distinct from the remainder of the Halo franchise. It sticks out largely because of that, and it's part of what makes it very memorable. These skins make it look like any other game on the market without a distinct identity. Fortnite, Call of Duty, those games are a mess. And honestly, if you told me that 343 submitted these as concept art to Fortnite and Fortnite themselves rejected it, I wouldn't be surprised. Dead Space Remake did something kind of similar with their skins. They're a little funky over there, but I can at least say they do, for the most part, fit with the artistic style of Dead Space. These skins really do not. And if they show up in cutscenes, they're going to be really ugly. It's kind of like those guys who use those new awful skins in Halo MCC for Reach cutscenes. The novelty of seeing something really ugly on your screen wears off very quickly. Also, speaking of bad artistic direction, we were shown the faces for Cortana and Johnson through these leaks. Both of them look pretty bad. Johnson, at least with the still that we saw, he kind of looks like he's holding in a fart. With Cortana, she looks nothing like CE Cortana. To talk about Cortana specifically, Cortana is one of those most visually distinct elements of the original game, especially relative to the rest. In Halo CE, she's primarily purple, whereas in the rest of the game, she's primarily blue. Now, the reason they made her blue is likely to create visual consistency with the rest of the franchise, but in doing that, you've removed that unique aspect of Halo CE where it's like, hey, Cortana's purple. And if you see a purple Cortana, that's the CE Cortana. And it's even weirder because Halo Infinite, I know, not having played it but seeing cutscenes of it, Cortana is purple in that game. They know she's supposed to be purple, but now she's blue. Her face is also not really angular anymore. Every single model in the original Halo CE, because of the low pixel count, is fairly angular, but Cortana stands out because she does have a sort of like V shape to her face and a sharp chin. Now her facial features are more broad, kind of flat. It's a mix of the Halo 4 and Halo 3 Cortana. It's not bad, it's just not good. And I also saw some additional art for other parts of the game. It's just basic. I don't really care about it. It doesn't stand out to me as Halo CE. It looks like another more generic modern Halo game. It's not special anymore. And look, just as a retrospective on 343 as a whole, I have to be honest, I think they're a terrible development studio. I think 343, for the past like 10 years plus, they have driven Halo into the absolute dirt. Halo 4 sold really well, bad game. Terrible multiplayer inspired by Call of Duty, story that makes no sense if you didn't read the books. And who cares about the Halo books anyway? Halo 5, awful game. TLJ of the Halo franchise. There's nothing redeeming about the storyline. It's multiplayer, kind of fun, not really Halo. Then you got Halo Infinite. It's a terrible game. Even 343 themselves abandoned it. No one cares about Infinite anymore. No one's going to be looking at Infinite for inspiration. It came, went, it was a fart in the wind, and it's gone now. And then you look at Halo MCC, and while it was fixed after being left broken by 343 for like 5 years, it's still not in a good state. It's got a lot of cheaters on PC. It doesn't have mods on Xbox. There's nothing, you know, wrong with it on the highest level, but on smaller, more technical levels, it has a lot of problems. So, as a development studio, they've done nothing but terrible work for the past, like, 10 years. Even their spin-off games really aren't that good. No one talks about Halo Wars 2 anymore. Nobody talks about Spartan Assault or the other Spartan game that I can't even bother to remember the name of. Who cares about Halo anymore? And you've got the blatant attempt to cash in on nostalgia, and they're doing a bad job. They're doing the same bad job they did with Halo CE Anniversary. Halo CE Anniversary, on an artistic level, was bad because they reused most of its assets from 3 and Reach. And while 3 and Reach are still very good-looking games, they are not Halo CE, and they clash with one another when they're put together and make the Anniversary Edition of Halo CE look more like an amateur mod developed by people who are unpaid for their labor. The fact that 343 is making what is effectively a mod of Halo Infinite and trying to sell it for money is disgusting to me. You shouldn't reward that behavior, especially considering the fact that they're not bothering to adjust gameplay systems to match the original game. They're just reusing assets from Halo Infinite too. And to me, these leaks indicate they could have made the changes that they need to make it look like Halo CE original. They just don't care. They just want to push it out to make some money. Don't reward that. We shouldn't reward them so that Microsoft continues to let this franchise suffer at the hands of a development studio that clearly doesn't care about it. When it comes to Halo, it's basically been dead since at least 2012. Arguably since Reach, if you didn't like Reach's changes to the gameplay formula. I didn't. I wish someone would just put a stake in this franchise and kill it for good. Maybe the remake will do that, but honestly at this stage, the best course forward for Halo is to either die or for it to go on hiatus for the next 10 years. I don't think a blatant nostalgia cash grab of a really good game is going to make a difference to Halo at this point. I wish Microsoft would just put it out of our collective misery. 343 clearly doesn't care about this franchise. They don't want to do it. I don't want to continue seeing my favorite franchise be driven into the ground. Microsoft just needs to get rid of this development studio. They need to stop doing Halo, and they need to focus on whatever else they want to do, because at this stage, this thing needs to be put out to pasture. Hopefully the remake does that. I don't know. But at this stage, I'm just so frustrated with the fact that I continue to have to look at something I really liked be desecrated by a studio that just doesn't care. So that was my first major edited video on this channel. It was not very long, and in my opinion, probably not very good, although I'm one of those people who hates all of the work he has ever done. So, If you have any thoughts about the work that I've done so far, if you have any feedback, make sure you shoot me a comment. If you want to give me a like, give me a subscribe, whatever works best for you. That would be great too. And I look forward to making more videos on different topics. I want to talk about reviews, talk about things I like, talk about things I didn't like. First in the set, hopefully this ain't the last. I'll see you next time. This is Stout AG, signing off.